Yo, what's up everyone? So Xbox recently just increased the prices of their consoles and more recently Game Pass. And at what point is enough Xbox? And these aren't just subtle changes, this is a 50% price hike to Game Pass. That's insane. That is truly insane. And Game Pass went from something that was seen as good value to now, I don't know if you can truly say that it's worth it when you really get down to it. So speaking to The Verge, they said, "We understand price increases are never fun for anybody, but we're trying to reinforce by adding more value to these plans as well." Their more value, by the way, is older Ubisoft titles with Ubisoft Plus. Not all Ubisoft Plus titles, just their classics menu. So Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't on Game Pass, but their older Far Cry games and other Assassin's Creed titles, those are. You also get the Fortnite crew, Ubisoft Classics, like I just mentioned, improved streaming for cloud gaming. The membership is going up to $30 a month from $20. And as it says right here, you should not pay the $30 per month because other retailers are not forcing that price for now. You know, it's funny, GameStop was tweeting out like, ours are still $20 if you want the ultimate. So you can buy a 1 month card from GameStop for $20 still. So at $30 a month, that is $360 a year. And at that point, you gotta wonder, is this really worth it? I remember at the beginning of the year, Xbox was in such a good place, at least externally, from the outside looking in. Obviously with the layoffs and everything else that has transpired this year, they were not in a good place internally. It was quite the opposite. But from the outside looking in, so Game Pass was seen as really good value. I believe, as we can see here, the PC Game Pass, it was $12 a month, and now it's going up to $16 a month. Again, this is just for the standard PC Pass. This isn't for the Ultimate Edition that we see here. That doesn't include the Fortnite crew and the Ubisoft Classics and all these other benefits. I think they're also increasing what percentage of reward points you get from your purchases. That is something, all of those aren't included in that. So again, is the $360 worth it? If we're assuming games are $70 each, I'll just do 360 divided by. That's about 5 titles worth of games. So if you're playing more than 5 titles a year, it might be worth it. The problem is it's so close that you really have to start thinking about it because you don't actually own these games. And the problem with Game Pass is it was such a good deal. It was truly too good to be true. That was the problem with Game Pass. They wanted you to get in at that low price. They wanted you to start playing these games. Many of them are online games that you play frequently, like Call of Duty, for instance. Black Ops 6 was on it. Their older titles are now starting to port over to Game Pass, and Black Ops 7 in November will be on Game Pass. They want you to start playing these titles. They want you to get in at a low entry price, and then they slowly start ticking away up, and hoping you don't realize. Because if you're watching this video, you're probably pretty in tune with what's going on with gaming. But the average person, they're not going to advertise how bad of a deal this is on the Xbox dashboard when some random person is just booting up their console looking to play games with their friends. They're probably not even going to notice this. They might get an email, a little notification somewhere that the price is increasing, but they might not even notice it. There's going to be a good portion of Game Pass users who won't even notice this price hike. They're just going to see that the goal of these companies with subscriptions is to slowly start increasing them so you don't notice it. You get at that low entry and then they slowly start taking away, raising the price. That is a problem with Game Pass. So they want you to get invested into these games that you are going to play a lot of, and that way you have to keep buying Game Pass in order to keep up with it. And I'm kind of seeing the problems with this right now. There's games. I beat Expedition 33. I beat the Oblivion main story. I didn't finish all the side quests. I want to, but I don't have Game Pass at the moment because I couldn't really justify the price. So I'm kind of at a point now where do I renew Game Pass if I want to play these games, or do I pay the even more expensive price tag to actually own the game? That's kind of where I'm at now, and that's where a lot of people will be. And the easiest thing to do if you don't really care about it is to just keep paying that monthly fee. So again, this great deal that Xbox was offering at the beginning of the year is no longer a thing. And the reason Game Pass has worked out to this point is because Microsoft, they're one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest company in the world. They have endless cash supply. So they can keep eating these losses with Xbox and gaming because they have the money for it. It doesn't bother them too much. Obviously, they want to be profitable. They're going to try to be, but Game Pass is only profitable when they're using third-party titles. That's why you've seen Halo and other Microsoft titles just slowly die out because they're launching and building their own titles isn't seen as profitable to them. It's a big reason why we saw the layoffs earlier this year with Microsoft. A lot of games that were almost ready to release, like games that were literally play tested the week of, like what's the company that owns Bethesda? ZeniMax. ZeniMax Studios was working on a new, I believe it was an MMO, and I mean, Phil Spencer literally just play tested the game. I believe it's like the week of, like he liked the game, or people from Xbox play tested and liked it the week of. They had a meeting the day before layoffs, and then the next day, the game was canceled. It's no longer going to be worked on. And that was a game seen by many as a potentially very successful game. The playtests were reviewed very well. And this comes on top of Xbox already increasing prices a few weeks ago with their consoles. I mean, we're looking at the prices here. The Xbox Series X is $600 and the 2TB Galaxy Black Special Edition is $800. What is that? I believe it's just the 2TB. Is it just a 2TB version of the console? Okay, so it's the same. I didn't even know this was out. It was I guess this is just a 2TB version of the Series X. I didn't even know this was a thing. Anyways, so $800 for a console. I mean, those are PC prices, and this isn't a refreshed console. Again, Xbox has already said themselves, the money comes from third-party titles being on their Game Pass. Making consoles yourselves is not a profitable endeavor at all. They are making a next generation of Xbox, but that's a big reason why we haven't seen a refresh this generation for Xbox. You got your Series X and your Series S still. They're the same power as they've always have been. They've made different models, like removing the disc trays and making them smaller a little bit. I believe they have a Series X without a disc tray is how it works, and increasing hard drives, things like that. But the power within the consoles has not increased, and that's a big problem. You're increasing the prices more and more, but this is a 5-year-old console. You know, we're at the point now where this next gen, or this current gen of console, they're starting to fall behind a little bit. They were already a little bit behind with the Series S. You know, a lot of games suffered because they had to make their games, they had to lower the quality of games because the Series X was just an historically weak console for our generation. It was very weak. And I do own one. I got one next to my PC here. They are cool and small. I will give them that. It's cool for being able to play current gen games, and you can play the original Xbox One games, and you can play 360 games on it. And it's this tiny little console like this. It's like the size of like a school dictionary textbook. That's what's cool about it, but power-wise, it has really held back gaming as a whole. So yeah, when you're paying this much for 5-year-old consoles, it just does not make sense. So yeah, Microsoft built up a little bit of good fortune. There was like a month, or it was like 1 or 2 months where Xbox was honestly taking W after W. They got Expedition 33, they got Oblivion, we knew Hollow Knight was eventually coming to Game Pass. Ninja Gaiden remasters came to Game Pass, and then they announced that the new one, which is coming out very soon, was also going to be on Game Pass. The next Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, was going to be on it. They announced that they were integrating other software into their PC software. So like on PC, it now shows your Steam games, your Epic games, all under one place. You can just load up the Xbox app and you can use your controller to navigate it, and everything's in one home. That is cool stuff. And so obviously, with that being said, they had their handheld, be able to play cloud games, the Xbox Play Anywhere games, and even the PlayStation titles that are like on Steam and Epic. You can play those on your Xbox handheld, but it's just essentially a mini PC at the end of the day. That was the unfortunate part of it. That is also, I believe, they're $600 and $1,000. But anyways, they built up some good like credibility within the scene for like a month or two. I own all consoles, but at heart, I am an Xbox fanboy. Truly, I want to see them succeed. I wish they were succeeding, but unfortunately, they are not. And then shortly after we saw all of those too good to be true deals, the layoffs and the turnover within the companies came, the price increases came, and now here we are today. Gears of War, we'll see what happens with that franchise. Halo, which should be their baby franchise that they should be taking the best care of, apparently is not in a great spot. You know, the Master Chief Collection Infinite, I've heard have had a lot of issues recently with logging in, and their new Halo has not been received well through internal playtests. So yeah, I mean, the Xbox branding is just it's continually taking L's. There's a reason why PlayStation outsells them almost 3-1 at this point. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you did, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know down below, will this change your view on Game Pass at all? Is this too much? I'm curious to see if some people don't care, or if some people are doing the math and saying, you know what, I might as well just buy these games and I'll actually own them for the future, because this has gone from something that, oh, I can pay $12 a month, beat the game within the month, and then that'll be that, to now, wow, I mean, $30 a month I'm paying for full. Like Hollow Knight Silksong is cheaper to just buy outright for $20 at that point than pay the $30. So yeah, let me know down below what you guys think. And check out the channel if you want more gaming news and things like that. Peace.